Back goes Ibanez. That's got a chance. That's gone. Home run, Troy Gloss. 3-2. Well hit right center field. Victorino going back. He looks up. We've got a tie game. More magic from 22. Instead, he drives one to right and deep. Rourke looks up. This game is over. Nate McLeod leads off the 10th with a game winner. Where is everybody? Silent treatment. 4-3 Atlanta. Game over, team gone. The atmosphere around Turner Field in recent days has been electric. Who knows, maybe tonight more electricity from the likes of John Smoltz there. What's he doing out in the center field plaza? Well, it's a beautiful night for baseball. Good time to be in the center field plaza. And we're glad you're with us tonight on Peachtree TV for Game 2 of the 3-game series between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Atlanta Braves. Joe Simpson here along with John. And boy, the excitement from the last 2 wins, I guess, has some carryover effect for this ball club. But how do you build on that?
Well, it's pretty easy. I mean, they've had some sleepless nights from some travels back to the West Coast and back. And games like that are just a shot of adrenaline you can't explain. This game's a lot of fun, but it can also be not a lot of fun. And for 8 innings, the Braves were nowhere in this game. And then with 2 outs in a ninth, to be able to put together a comeback like that gives you hope for every game you play forward. There's not one game they can say they're out of it. And what a great way to end it. I've seen a lot of great games. That one was a lot of fun for me.
Well, a very unique walk-off homer indeed, and the tail end of the walk-off homer, something the likes we've never seen before.
No, definitely. He hits it here. It's a walk-off. He knows it. You see him around the bases. We're not prepared for what's going to happen next. We're calling it, and as he slams the helmet down, there's nobody there. The dugout is empty except for one poor bat boy gets trapped, and then the rest you see right here. Just fantastic. No showing up the other team. A lot of fun. This is what it's about.
Well, on to tonight's ball game, and what a pitching matchup we have. Roy Halladay goes for the Phillies against Tim Hudson for the Braves, and John and I will be back to talk about that matchup right after this timeout. Matchup, Halladay against Hudson. a beauty. Let's start with Roy Halladay.
Well, Roy Halladay speaks for himself and his stuff, but he is so dominant and demands the presence of the hitter. Look for the hitters to be aggressive, but if you think you're going to see anything straight coming out of his hand, good luck. He works both sides of the plate. He has confidence, not a lot of walks, and my gosh, he's one of the hardest working pitchers in all of baseball, and the Braves have their work cut out for him tonight.
No doubt about that, but so did the Phillies. Since Tim Hudson's come back from his Tommy John surgery, he's been more Tim Hudson-like.
He has, and what people don't understand is he's got to prove to himself first that he's fully healthy, he's relying on his kind of stuff, and that he's going to return to the old form. He's not quite struck out as many guys as we would like, but look for that to get better as the year matures. He feels more confident with his arm. Great opportunity for the Braves to mix and match their ace with one of their own.
Well, runs will be at a premium tonight. That is for certain. It'd be nice for the Braves to get a couple of early runs for Tim Hudson. We'll be back with first pitch and lineups right after this. Phillies under prettier skies than we had last night. Temperature's up a little bit too, but a little breeze blowing in from left field. Now it's time for the Atlanta Center for Cosmetic Dentistry Big Smile seat upgrade at JJ. The Wisconsin Lucky fans is now upgrading their seats. Keep watching to see where their new seats are located. Sponsored by the Atlanta Center for Cosmetic Dentistry. And Tim Hudson on the mound, John. Coming off a start, we got his first win of the year.
He is, and he's looking to tame this lineup. He's had a little bit of not so much success, 4-6 against the Phillies, but it's been the latter part of the failures, not for a whole workload. He had good success early, and you know Timmy's going to rely on keeping the ball down, throwing splits, cutters, everything. Look for the infielders to have a lot of work today if he's on his game.
He walked 5 in his last start against the Padres in that win. He can't afford 5 walks tonight against these guys, and Shane Victorino leads it off. First pitch of the game, called strike by Tony Randazzo, the home plate umpire. Victorino in 1 for 5 last night. Pretty good numbers against Tim in his career, 8 for 25 with 2 homers. Fights that one off, might stay in play for Chipper, but a long run and can't get there, and he bangs into the wall.
Probably one of the toughest plays for not only a third baseman, everybody. Your back's towards the field, and then of course you got sometimes fans that are going to help you out, but you hope your home fans don't get in the way.
Well, that railing is just the right height for a good bone bruise on your thigh, too. 0-2 to Victorino. 1-2. Phillies have lost 5 out of 6. The Braves have won 5 out of 6. And they are tied atop the NL East at 8-5.
That's the pitch that you're going to see a lot from Tim is he's got to get these hitters reaching out on that pitch, trying to look like it's a fastball, split finger going down. He's got a good sinker. But in coming back from injury, you're trying to retrust your stuff, as we talked in the open, to see what you really feel about doing it in these situations.
Tough play, bouncer off the plate. Tim with a nice flip gets Victorino. And let's take a look at the rest of the batting order, brought to you by Stone Mountain Park and Evergreen Marriott Resort. For great getaway packages, visit stonemountainpark.com. And after Victorino, we're going to see Placido Polanco, and Chase Utley, and Ryan Howard. Jason Worth, a leader in the National League with 7 doubles. Ibanez, Castro, Ruiz, and Halladay. That lineup the same with the addition of Halladay tonight. Polanco 2 for 5 last night. Has never faced Tim Hudson before. That's a bit of a surprise. And as you see, off to a great start. Foul territory, first base side. Does Gloss have a play? No.
You know, coming into this game, we talked about the emotion of the Braves having an emotional high, adrenaline high, and I guarantee you their dose of reality, although it was fun coming to the park today, their dose of reality is Mr. Halladay on the other side. So Tim knows going into this, talking to him briefly, he said, I'm going to have to make sure 2 runs or less is my mindset, because that other guy commands that as you're facing.
Polanco got plunked. Not sure where it got him, but he's in a lot of pain. Back of the hand or the wrist.
Ball rode in hard, caught him on almost the funny bone of the elbow, and those don't feel, they're not funny at all. Trying to establish that inside pitch, which makes Tim so effective, is because hitters are not, you can't feel comfortable when you're facing them. That one just got away from him.
First base runner of the night for the Phillies, albeit a painful one, and here's Chase Utley. 2 for 5 last night. Drove in a run, scored a run. Had the check swing double down the third base line off of Tommy Hanson that started a rally in the 4th inning. 8 for 36 in his career against Hudson. And Tim misses low, ball 1.
I really think you're going to see a different approach from both teams, meaning the Phillies approach, great stuff of Tommy Hanson with patience, foul off, just try to foul off those pitches to create an area they're looking for. I think they'll be more aggressive with Tim because he's around the zone. He's in the area where they're looking to get the head of the bat out. And on the flip side, I think the Braves will be ultra aggressive against a guy who traditionally doesn't throw any strikes.
1-1.
I'm sorry, doesn't throw any balls.
Doesn't miss too much, yeah, but you got to get after him early in the count. He likes to get ahead, and he's not, as we have been reading, not a guy that likes to waste a lot of pitches. Halladay. Tim is 34 years old, 6'1", 175 pounds. He's in his 12th year. That's out of play. 1-2 to Utley.
And I hope as the game goes on, we can talk about, they're both fierce competitors on the mound, but they go about their job really in a different way. Tim being a prankster, likes to have fun, relaxes. Then he gets that intense look when he's on the mound, and he's a fierce competitor. The other guy, wow, when you get to hear some of the things that he did to just get working back into the good graces of success, it's a pretty incredible story.
The 1-2 pitch got him with an off-speed pitch. First strikeout for Hudson, 2 down. Ryan Howard will be the batter. Here's the defense behind Tim Hudson tonight. Melky Cabrera gets the start in left field tonight. McLeod in center, Hayward in right. And the same infield, third to first. Jones, Escobar, Prado, and Gloss, and Brian McCann, per usual, doing the catching. Tim Hudson did not strike out a batter in his last start against the Padres. That was highly unusual for him. Has one already tonight. And here's Ryan Howard, who's been a thorn in Tim's side for the last couple of years. 12 for 34 in his career with 5 homers, including a home run in each of his last 2 at-bats against him.
And the game that gets played, they're both watching the same video. They're going to go back, look at, Tim's going to look, what can he do different? What can he expose? Watch all the video you can. And then it's that cat and mouse game. Who's going to deliver the first adjustment? And I always found it interesting to see what kind of games you could play with a hitter and just see if you could get them thinking a little bit differently based on video, because you know they're looking at the same thing.
Sure. Braves have the shift on for Howard. Chipper, the only infielder on the left side, and he is cheated way up the middle. Martin Prado out in shallow right field. Jammed him. 90 miles an hour on the fastball and tied him up. 0-2.
Something he's been doing. He cuts this fastball to stay in because his fastball goes away from a left-hander, has a sink, so he throws a hard kind of cut fastball. Something he's been, when he was healthy, was so dominant that gets the left-hander off of his two-seam sinker.
0-2 is a little bit high. It'll go to the screen, and it'll be a wild pitch.
And I really believe what he was trying to do there is front door his fastball, get it to start at a left-hander. It just slips out of his hand. Looks like he wants to get that Greg Maddux type, and you're going to see Halladay does this as good as anybody. And, of course, that ball slips out of his hand, so it's...
Is that because there's so much pressure just between the thumb and index finger?
Well, what you want to do is you want to stay inside it to create. You stay inside the ball to create that sinker, that natural movement that's hard to pick up, and make it look like it's going right at the hitter because he just threw him a cutter.
Right to Gloss. He'll take care of that, and that takes care of the Phillies. They strand one in scoring position. We go to the bottom of the first. This Nate McLeod at the start of things. Martin Prado leads the National League in on-base percentage. He'll be batting second, followed by Chipper Jones and Brian McCann. Troy Gloss and Jason Hayward with big home runs last night in the ninth inning. And then bottom third of the order tonight is Escobar, Cabrera, and Hudson. And on the mound, the guy that many people say is the best pitcher in baseball over the last 5 or 6 years, John, and to me maybe the guy that was the heir apparent to Greg Maddux in that regard.
Absolutely. If you're going to get Mr. Halliday, you have to get him in the first inning. He's had many games where he's given up 2-3. Looks like he's not going to have a good game by the end of the day. He's pitched 9 innings. The Braves are hitting only .227 against right-handers. Don't look for that, unfortunately, to change or improve too much tonight. But I think the Braves got to have a team approach that says he's going to be around the plate, look for one pitch. We got to go out and attack him.
Nate McLeod starts it off, swinging at the first pitch, and a top hop handled by Ryan Howard, and he'll take it to the bag for the out. The defense tonight behind Roy Halladay. Same lineup as last night: Ibanez, Victorino, and Worth in the outfield. Polanco, Castro, Utley, and Howard on the infield. And Carlos Ruiz doing the catching.
Some scouts actually thinks he throws too many strikes. He's going to be one of those guys someday that has that 70-pitch complete game because his reputation is so good. He only had, in his last 19 starts, 131 strikeouts and 20 walks in 147 innings. So
awesome. Strike call to Prado. He combines power with control. And it's a great combination. He's 17-10 last year with a 2.79 ERA.
Run!
239 innings. He walked 35 and struck out 208. Goes to 2-1.
You mentioned his record last year, but what it doesn't talk about is 14 of his last 18 starts were the Yankees, Red Sox, and Rays. 3 of the best teams in the league. And he had a .685 winning percentage, and his team was only .496.
2-2 to Prado. Won the Cy Young Award in the American League in 2003. He's kind of a throwback guy to the old days. I mean, a lot of complete games compared to modern day pitchers. A lot of shutouts. Already a complete game this year out of his first 3. Did he go? No, says Ted Barrett, umpiring at first, and the count goes full, 3-2. His last start against Florida, he beat them 8-6. He only gave up 2 runs in 8 innings. No walks, 4 strikeouts. And there's that complete game mark since 2007. Chopper to third. Polanco gets a good hop. High throw, but Howard reels it in. 2 down. Halladay pitched here in interleague play last May, and he worked 7 shutout innings against Kenshin Kawakami. He came out after 7, and the Braves won that game 1-0. He got no decision. Chipper 1 for 3 last night. 5 for 13 on the homestand. One for 2 in his career against Halladay with a homer. And he did give up some homers last year, John, 22 of them.
Well, a big part of that is because he aggressively goes after the hitter. He believes his stuff's better than the hitter can produce, and he's not afraid to throw strikes. Today, that doesn't exist as much for a lot of reasons. But for every good success story, and especially his, he had to learn a lot of hard lessons just to get to this point to be as dominant as he has.
Curveball missed, 2-2. He'll be 33 next month. He's 6'6", 230 out of Arvada, Colorado. He's in his 11th year. He was a first-round pick by the Blue Jays in '95. Took a little off there, and Chipper swings and misses. First strikeout for Halladay. We go to the second.
Anniversary TV and HD is brought to you by BB&T, best bank in town since 1872.
Worth, Ibanez, and Castro due up here in the second inning for the Phillies. Hudson with 16 pitches in the first inning, a good inning. Jason Worth steps in, 1 for 4 last night. He had a check swing double off of Hanson. And 4 for 12 in his career against Tim. Look out. Tim's doing a good job of keeping him honest. 2-0. He hit Polanco in the first inning.
Tim starts on the right side of the rubber, the first base side, closes up, but then has a tendency every once in a while.
Deep drive to left. Cabrera looks up. That ball is high off the wall. It just stayed in the park. And Worth has to hustle into second to get a double. I think a little breeze helped there, John. It's blowing in from left field across toward the right field foul pole. I think that might have been the only thing that kept that in the park.
Yeah, and as I was saying, if he doesn't stay closed and flies open, the ball is a flatter ball than he likes. Did get a little bit of a break, the breeze, keeping this in the park. But Tim doesn't have one of the big frames he can rely on. He uses every part of his body to create sink and movement.
Oh, maybe a little premature high five there.
No doubt.
Thinking the ball was out of the ballpark. They're not playing at Citizens Bank Park tonight. Check it out.
That'll be on a blooper film.
Yeah, I don't know if the coach is allowed to touch you when the ball's in play. Throw a flag. Strike 2 to Ibanez. 1 for 2 with a couple of walks last night, but off to a slow start, hitting just $186. Now to play. As we mentioned last night, and for those of you that weren't with us, got to keep an eye on Worth. Only Ryan Braun stole third base more than he did last year. But probably trying to give Ibanez a chance to advance him here with a ground out. Still 0-2. Can wanted one high out of the zone, and he got it, but Ibanez didn't offer. Little difference for Ibanez in his start this year compared to last in his first year with the Phillies.
Absolutely. He is coming back from surgery, but he set that new team he was with on fire and carried him a big part of that.
Some of that was against Atlanta early too. Might remember the Braves opened up last year in Philadelphia, won the first 2 games, and then were leading game 3 10-3 behind Javi Vasquez, and wound up losing that game. Took a little off and missed 2-2.
Tim prefers these kind of weather games than he does in the heat of the summer. He had trouble cramping up. We talked about he's definitely well fit, but not a lot of meat on him. He's using every bit of energy to deliver the ball to home plate, so he's maxing out.
Out of play. Foul balls really kind of proved to be the demise of Tommy Hanson last night, having thrown 102 pitches through 4 2/3 last night when he came out of the game, but there were a lot of at-bats that went 8, 9, 10 pitches to some of these Phillies hitters as they were battling him. He said it was maybe the most exciting game he's ever been associated with. Drilled to right center. That's headed for the gap. And that will score Worth, and it'll be a ground rule double. And Ibanez will stop at second. Phillies strike first. It's 1-0.
Well, early on, the Phillies have gotten 2 mistakes and certainly capitalized on it. These balls are not, they're floating just a little bit. He's getting just underneath a little bit. You see it's an off-speed pitch. It stays over the middle of the zone, and wasn't enough downward action to create any kind of rollover or ground out. And Tim's got to be careful that he can execute these pitches with already what they have some good numbers against them. So Phillies have struck first, and Tim's got to make an adjustment.
Castro shows bunt, takes a strike. 1 for 4 last night.
And the hard part is, Joe, ordinarily this is no big deal. 1 run, 2 run, no big deal. You keep it right there. But when you keep thinking about the guy that's pitching against you, it does put a little more stress and a little more attitude of perfection that you really can't control when you're facing an already good lineup. And you can see today he's just struggling a little bit, trying to go in. The ball's coming up and out. And, you know, I'm sure Roger, in between innings, if he continues this pattern, we'll try to look at a way to get him back down through the zone and have that electric stuff down below the knees. That's where he's got to be effective.
Does he have to get on top of the baseball a little bit? Is
well,
he pushing it a little bit?
Yeah, he just gets out a little too fast, and his arm doesn't catch up, and the ball elevates. Tim's not a pitcher who's going to live up in the zone. Everybody who I've ever seen talk about how nasty his stuff is, it's just it's there and it's gone below the zone. They don't recognize it. The ball that is up is a little flatter because of his arm angle and everything that he does to throw a baseball, which is different than any other pitcher on the staff.
Derek Lowe almost got nailed with that foul ball. 1-2 the count. Ibanez at second. He's driven in a run. 1-0 Phillies. 2-2. Ibanez has average speed. Nothing exceptional. Outfielders would have a chance to throw him out on a sharply hit base hit. Castro still trying to get him over to third. Fouls another one off. Tim's got good numbers against the National League East in his career. A 30-14 mark and a good ERA of 3.03. Oh, and 1 against the Phillies last year. Oh, they pitched a good ball game, gave up 3 runs in 7 innings, 4 and 6 lifetime. Oh, where was he?
There he executed the pitch. Could have got the call. Goes with a front door cutter, and this ball just goes down just a little bit too much. But, of course, the hitter freezes, and he knows at some point in the game he's going to be able to get him out on that pitch.
Payoff pitch toward the hole. That'll get through for a base hit. Ibanez had to wait for the ball to go through. He'll make it to third, and they're on the corners. Still nobody out. So it looked like perhaps a strikeout pitch gives Castro another pitch to see, and he capitalizes. Third straight hit in the inning, and here is Carlos Ruiz, the catcher. The only regular in their lineup last night that took an offer, went 0 for 4. Struck out twice. And a first pitch fastball hitter. Takes that one. 0-1. 93. Good fastball there from Tim.
You got a situation if you're Tim. The ideal place is a pop-up or a strikeout and then bring up the pitcher, and you could relatively get out of here with just one potential run. Sometimes managers, and I know Greg Maddux was not a big fan of this, they bring the infield in to not only keep the runner at third, knowing you got the pitcher up. It might prevent you from not having a double play, but it keeps the inning alive without a run. Greg definitely wanted the double play every single time he could get it. He never wanted the infield in, and rarely did we ever play the infield in based on the way he approached the game.
Even at the expense of giving up a run.
Correct.
A ball and a strike to Ruiz. In the air to right, Jason Hayward. Not too deep. Might have a play here. Ibanez started, but now he stops. No damage. One out.
And Tim got away with another pitch there, but that's what we're talking about. Now he gets the pop-up. And so even though it looks like early on Doc Halladay can swing the bat a little bit, but you see this pitch goes up again over the plate. Just missed it. Most pitchers are bunting in this situation to stay out of a double play. More than likely, I'm sure that's what they're going to do here. You've got your leadoff hitter up with 2 outs, runners on second and third. But a good situation for it looked like a bad inning. Tim can pick up his team right here and see if he can get the out and then get the leadoff hitter.
Now Halladay's 3 for 11 on the year with an RBI. Shows bunt and bunts it foul.
Now the best situation, have the pitcher pop up the bunt to the pitcher, act like you don't see it, drop it, turn the double play.
I was just thinking about it, just a hard bunt back to
or
Tim.
that.
Start the double play.
I did that, threw it in the center field.
Nice.
Yeah, felt good. I've been dreaming about that play my whole life. I never had it until this one time. I said, I'm going to show everybody this is the way you do it, and I chucked it into center field.
See, that goes back to what I told you before. Pitchers are non-athletes. They can do one thing well.
Well, maybe.
Kind of coming around, aren't you?
I might be.
Swinging. 0-2. Swinging and missing. That was a good call by Brian McCann and Tim Hudson to not just assume that he was going to be bunting and throw him a breaking ball. Sam Perlazzo is the third base coach going through the signs. Former skipper of the Orioles. 1-2.
Another theory, when a pitcher's bunting, and let's say you've got a curveball and or slider, you throw the slider, that's the easiest pitch to put in play. You throw the curveball, a pitcher's going to more or less jab at it. What Greg would do and Tommy would do is throw a changeup with the same effect. They go after it, jab it, pull it foul, and then you get your strikeout with 2 strikes. It looks like he's hitting here the whole way.
And he's swinging and missing again. Big strikeout for Hudson. 2 out in the inning, his second strikeout. And it'll be left to Victorino. Phillies had a run in, first and third, nobody out. Now first and third, 2 out. Victorino hit a bouncer off the plate back to the mound his first time. Strike one call.
As long as Tim doesn't get too low with his lower half and his knee goes down as he delivers and doesn't have too much of a dip, he'll stay on top of the ball and it'll be more effective of a pitch. And out of the stretch, you certainly could be a little bit more compact, a little simpler, but I'm sure like him and every other pitcher wants to pitch the entire game out of the windup.
The 1-1. Right by him.
The Phillies, you look, they've run into a little bit of a trouble. Last 3 games, 4 runs. Team average you see right there, 182. Runners in scoring position. Not what their seasonal totals are like, and only 1 home run. So keeping that the way it is tonight and tomorrow would be perfect as far as the Braves fans are concerned.
That was coming into play tonight. The 1-2. A little flare into center. McLeod got a good jump. Sliding attempt, and he got it. Good play by Nate McLeod, and Hudson does indeed limit the damage to just 1 run. We go to the bottom of the second. 1-0 Phillies. Take a look at tonight's leaderboard, brought to you by the Sunshine House, a tradition of excellence in early education. And tonight's leaders complete games among active pitchers. Roy Halladay at the top of the list with 50. And Jamie Moyer of the Phillies on that list too in the top 10. Brian McCann leads off for the Braves and takes a strike. Brian 1 for 3 last night. And he's 2 for 2 in his career against Halladay. Phillies have a shift on for him. 92 on that fastball. That's about where he lives, isn't it? Low 90s?
Yep. Big frame, doesn't need to do much more than that. They've lowered his arm slot since 4 or 5 years ago.
Big chopper to Halladay, who feels his position well and takes care of McCann.
Almost looks like a lot on some of his pitches. He's holding a pizza tray, or he's trying to set that ball, and he puts it in a position where it's just, there's not a better control guy today that exists, and his numbers show it. In his last 5 starts dating back to 2009, 5-0, 0.64 ERA with 3 complete games.
That's pretty good. Joey Gloss had a big night last night with that 2-run homer to get things fired up in the 9th inning. His second homer. He's 4 for 11 in his career in the American League against Roy Halladay with a homer. And he sends a drive to center and deep. Victorino going back, way back on the track, jumps, and oh my gosh, he pulled it back. Shane Victorino appeared to save a homer. Wow, what a play, and what great timing on his jump.
Almost last second. He looks, gets there, last second goes up, and the ball finds his glove. And there's not a better feeling for a pitcher in the world knowing that that run has just been saved.
Right up on top of the yellow line. Jason Hayward goes after the first pitch. That's a rare sight for him. His solo shot in the ninth tied it up last night. They try to jam him, and they do. They break his bat 0-2. Here's another look at the catch.
2 straight gold gloves. This will show you why.
Just great timing. You put a ball in play like that against Halladay, and it turns into a great catch. Just a crusher. Going to be joined next half inning by our pal Pete Van Wieren. Special guest. That'll be fun. Good to see Pete at the ballpark tonight. He'll be back with us, or here in the booth with us in the top of the 3rd inning. Got him with a sinker. Second strikeout for Halladay, but he leaves knowing it could be a tie ball game. have chosen, we'll answer it later in the game. Send that email to braves@peachtreetv.com, and please tell us your name. And remember, more saving, more doing. That's the power of Home Depot. Placido Polanco leads off the third inning, and John and I are pleased to welcome back our pal, one of the longtime voices of the Atlanta Braves, Pete Van Wieren. Pete, good to see you here at the ballpark.
Yeah, good to be here. Good to look at the ball club this year. First time I've seen him in person. Been watching a lot on TV, listening on the radio.
Pretty exciting club.
Very good-looking team. Very impressed with, obviously, Jason Hayward, but I think the pitching staff is the thing to be the most pleased about, looking at the long term for the season.
Right back to Hudson. Should be an easy play, and it is. 1 out. Well, I want to talk about...
As we know from all those great years, pitching can carry a long way, right, John?
Yeah, it's been known to have a nice kind of model to put together, and I agree with you. Their pitching staff is strong so far.
Bullpen, good deep bullpen.
Well, one of the great things about being in retirement is writing books, Pete.
Yeah.
Of Mikes and Men, a lifetime of Braves baseball, by Pete Van Wieren, along with Jack Wilkinson, and just hit the newsstands.
Out this week.
Pete and Joe, I know this is not going to surprise you, but I can tell you, I think I've only finished 2 or 3 books in my lifetime, but I am looking forward to reading that book cover to cover.
You're in there.
All right. All right.
Couple times, in fact.
What was your motivation? What made you decide to write a book?
Well, I was approached by a writer in New York about 2 years ago about doing it, and we went back and forth, and then that kind of fell through.
Utley down the line, that'll hit the corner, and he's going to have at least 2. Hayward gets it in quickly, and Chase Utley in scoring position with 1 out.
And I had talked about it with some of the writers back here in Atlanta. Jack Wilkinson, who I've known for a long time, said, well, why don't we give it a try, see if we can find a publisher and give it a shot. So we found a publisher, Triumph Books, out of Chicago. It's a division of Random House, and they gave us a deal, and we put the book together. It took us about a year to get all the details and all the information that we wanted to put in there.
Braves are going to walk Ryan Howard to set up a double play possibility and work to Jason Worth. Did you find when you got started, though, that it was really kind of cathartic?
It was fun. It was fun, and as Jack pointed out, it was something you don't think about when you're actually in the business. But the period of time that I was here, from 1976 until 2008, was a big transition time, not only for the Braves as a baseball team, but in the baseball broadcasting business. Ted Turner revolutionized the way baseball is covered in this country, where nowadays you can watch any game on cable. Back during the days that we were talking about, you can only watch the Braves. The Braves and the Cubs were the only 2 teams you could pick up on cable. So there was that element to it. There was a personal story that I wanted to tell that gets told in the book, and a lot of stories about players both on and off the field. Nothing that shouldn't be told, but we had a good time. And fortunately, my wife had kept clippings, which I wasn't even aware she'd kept all this stuff, going all the way back to the first year here. So whenever we needed a resource, a quote, something we could pick up out of a newspaper, something somebody said, we were able to actually go to the source instead of having to go to a library and research it. She had all the stuff there that we were able to go through and find, and that made it a lot easier.
Way to go, Elaine. To third, chipper, foul ball. It's going to be a perfect double play, but a foul ball. No play.
Pete, I want to get to something really. How long did it take you to really nail the official scorebook? It probably years, right? A year or 2? Or
No.
Right away.
What you have to understand in the scorebook, keeping score, the only person who has to be able to read it is you.
Okay. All right. That's all I needed.
Nobody else needs to be able to look over there and see what it is, as long as you can understand it.
Because I've been taking some shots. I'm sure you know that things just haven't.
Looks
I
like
got the white out now. I mean, this is awesome. And then I just.
Well, you might need a gallon of that before.
But I'm getting it. Multitasking, getting it.
But you got the numbering down. You're getting there.
All right.
But as long as you can read it back, that's all that counts.
Down the right field line, and that's going to reach the seats. 0-2.
See, one of the things I did when I kept score, I just learned this way and started doing it this way. When I put a backwards K down in my scorebook, it meant struck out swinging.
Ah.
Most other people put that down, it means struck out looking. when they put the K backwards.
So
But
when
I knew what it meant.
So when I would look at your scorebook and I couldn't read your chicken scratchings, I just thought it was just a funny K. 0-2 to Worth.
Now, as long as you can read it back, that's all you need.
1-2 the count. Well, you're going to have some book signings coming up too, right?
Yeah, we got quite a few of them.
Here?
Quite a few of them, actually. The first one involving the Braves will be at the Braves store at the CNN Center on Saturday, May 1st at noon. And then we have a couple of signings here at Turner Field. One on May 29th. It's a Saturday. We'll be here.
Out. Sorry for a little audio problem there, but we're back.
See, I thought I did something wrong right there. I guess I'll learn to be.
Don't touch any of the buttons, John.
Got to keep the whiteout away from a cough button.
Hard hit, but foul. Still 2-2.
Yeah, we'll be here at Turner Field on Saturday, May 29th, prior to a night game. Be here at about 5 o'clock, signing out on the plaza, I guess is where it's going to be. And then on Saturday, June 26th, also here.
That's wonderful. I'm curious.
We've also got signings in Macon and Birmingham, around Atlanta, Rome.
I know the fans will be turning out for those and will want to know all about it. Did you have to use spell check much?
I left that up to Jack. He's the professional writer.
Okay.
But it was actually kind of fun putting it all together.
Well, we're all looking forward to reading it. Couldn't wait for it to come out. 2-2. Got him. Good pitch there by Tim.
And of course, there are a lot of good Skip stories in there too. After working, nearly 33 years with Skip, we had a lot of fun together. We've got some Skip stories in there.
Pete, the strangest thing happened to me yesterday. I was at a restaurant. I brought a buddy of mine, and we were sitting down and. We sat down at the table, and there was a bowl of peanuts, and he grabbed a peanut, and the peanut said, "That's a nice shirt you're wearing." And then he grabbed another peanut, and he said, "Man, I really like the way your hair looks." He looked at me, he says, "Do you know what's going on? What's the deal?" I said, "Buddy, these are complimentary peanuts." Wow.
That sounds like some booing from the peanut gallery right there. Oh, boy.
I've heard some of your material.
It's getting there. It's getting there. Can't come out of the chute firing all the time.
Might get out of the inning right here. Escobar with a tough play. Gets Ibanez, and Hudson pitches out of trouble. He leaves runners at first and second. Pete, great to see you. Thanks for joining us. Bottom of the third inning, Braves down by a run, and fans, it's time for the AirTran Airways home run inning, where Eileen from Lilburn, Georgia, will have the chance to win free airfare for two if the Braves hit a home run during the third inning. Visit PeachTreeTV.com/contest for official rules and to enter for a chance to win. AirTran Airways, go. There's nothing stopping you. Braves need a little offense conjured up here against Roy Halladay. Halladay caught a break when Shane Victorino caught what looked like was going to be a home run ball in dead center field. That saved a run. Yunel Escobar in the hole, 1 and 2. 0 for 4 last night, 0 for his last 6. Is his breaking ball to a right-hander, is it a true slider? Is it more of a cutter?
He does both. He cuts it, he slurves it, he's got a big curveball, he's got a changeup, he's got every component that he believes is going to get a hitter out. And he studies video, he's well prepared. I would think that the hitter that gives him the most problem is the Haywards or the young guys that there's not much out on, you know, and you just don't have the book yet.
Yunel knew it. Got caught looking for something else. That's 3 strikeouts for Halladay. And with 1 out, here are the recipients of the Big Smile seat upgrade, sponsored by Dr. Deborah Gray Keene and the Atlanta Center for Cosmetic Dentistry, the place in Atlanta to get a beautiful smile. Melky Cabrera, the batter. Broken bat grounder to short. Castro swoops in. Good play, 2 down. 28 pitches so far for Halladay with 2 out in the third. Last year, John, this is amazing. Last year, Roy Halladay faced 963 batters during the season. Close to 1,000. He went to a 3-0 count 16 times.
That's impossible.
That is impossible.
People don't understand. You know, the reason a pitcher gets to a 3-0 count is because with each count 1-0, 2-0, missing, you want to be a little bit finer because you don't want to give in to the hitter's strengths. And he only did it 16 times. And I think the whole campaign never had an intentional walk.
That's right. First time in 12 years that had happened.
That means that's the ultimate confidence that you can say, even if you want to walk this guy, you know you're going to make, that pitcher's going to make those pitches that are going to stay away from a potential bad thing happening.
Well, I don't think he's got much of a book on Tim Hudson. It might be Hudson that wears him out tonight.
Could get the first hit.
Curveball missed. He does work fast. Strikeout number 4. The Braves have been 9 up and 9 down so far. This has been the AirTran Airways home run inning of the game. Be sure to register at PeachTreeTV.com/contest.
Here's tonight's Toyota trivia question. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota moving forward. Before last night, when was the last time the Atlanta Braves had 3 home runs in their last 4 at-bats of a game?
Tough one. Tim Hudson goes back to work against the bottom third of the order. Juan Castro had a base hit his first time up. Phillies started the second inning with 3 straight hits, 2 doubles and a single, but only got 1 run out of it. As Hudson went to work, and he's ahead of Castro 0-2.
Joe, I'm going to say 1999. What do you say?
When you are in here by yourself doing your homework, is that when you go call down to the truck and find out what the answer is?
No, it's purely a guess. The other times that I was a guest with you,
yeah,
I did all that stuff.
Okay.
Now this is legit.
Okay.
It's total guess, 1999.
To second. Prado with an easy play. 1 out. Tim Hudson last weekend did a great thing again. I mean, he's been the Braves Roberto Clemente Award winner and nominee several times, but he and his wife Kim made a very generous donation to the Chattahoochee Valley Community College Baseball Program. A donation of $200,000 that, as the coach at Chattahoochee Valley State said, just does wonders for their program. Will help them build new dugouts, build a scoreboard. High chopper, tough play for Prado. Ruiz, the catcher, running, and they get him. After Tim came out of high school in Phoenix City, Alabama, he went to Chattahoochee Valley Community College before going to Auburn. So he has a lot of ties there. But yet another wonderful thing that Tim and Kim do off the field.
As these two match up, they're pretty mirror images of themselves. Halladay 151 and 76. Hudson 149 and 78. 3.4 career RA to Hudson's 3.48. 2,070 and 2/3 innings to 2,072 and a third innings. And they both got traded on the same date, 12/16, but 1 in 09, Halladay and Hudson in 04.
Yeah, this is ridiculous how close this is, but to be traded on the same day of the calendar is very ironic when you compare the closeness and all those other numbers. Halladay came from the Blue Jays, as you know, in a 3-way deal. Cliff Lee went to the Mariners. Blue Jays got players from both teams. A big player leaving Philadelphia was prospect Kyle Drabeck, son of Doug Drabeck. Look out, Tim. Tim, a little pirouette on that follow through. Made himself laugh. Full count to Halladay.
He's thinking, how in the world did that get to be a strike?
And he strikes out Halladay for the second time. 4 strikeouts for Tim. He looks sharp. We go to the bottom of the 4th. He still trails 1-0.
Atlanta Braves and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves.
9 up and 9 down for Roy Halladay. We go back to the top of the Atlanta order. Nate McLeod grounded out his first time up. Takes one on the corner. The closest Halladay has come to a no-hitter was in his first start in the big leagues, and he went 8 2/3. Will this one get down? No. Victorino closes the gap. 10 in a row set down by Halladay. What's the closest you came? Did we talk about that?
Philadelphia, I think we might have us 8 1/3. Shook off Ole. Lenny Dykstra was at the plate. 2-0 count. Gave it up. To this day, I've never had a Zagnut since.
Zagnut?
Yeah, I got to tell you.
Those are good candy bars.
They are, but I've never had one since because it really was the reason that the no-hitter got broken.
Explanation to follow.
Well, I took any advice that anybody would say. At that point, I was young in my career, and then some pitchers said, you know, I particularly like to pitch on an empty stomach, is what this pitcher said. So we had an afternoon game, and I chose not to eat. And went there, was feeling good for a while. But then as I approached the latter part of the game, I had a no-hitter going. I was starving. I went in the Philly clubhouse. And I went up there just to get something, some kind of energy. The first thing I saw was the Zagnut. Bottom of the eighth, whatever it was. I ate it whole Zagnut. Bottom of the ninth, I gave up a no-hitter. And
what a shame.
Yeah, they're good, and I just can't go back to it.
I understand.
Let me down.
I understand. What a heartbreaking candy bar.
But the one that when anyone asked me if I've thrown a no-hitter, I said yes. It doesn't show up in the stat books, but I got a no-hitter in San Diego and got it taken away by an official score.
Prado knew that was a strike. Halladay burns the outside corner. Time for the answer to the Toyota trivia question. For last night, the last time the Braves had 3 homers in the last 4 at-bats of a game. I'm going to say it's a game involving Fred McGriff. But it's never happened before. See, 99, is that what you said?
1999. Didn't happen then either.
See, that's a trick question. I don't like those. Maybe if you'd said, has it ever happened before, you could have a yes or no 50-50 thing.
The game in San Diego is when Ryan Klesko was playing outfield. And Tony Gwynn hit the ball in the 8th inning with 2 outs. Went into his glove, dropped it.
Well hit left center. Nobody's going to get that one. That's in the gap and up against the wall. Chipper, a 2-out double. First base runner of the night for Atlanta. I do remember that play, and it probably should have been an error.
This is the only way that you can attack this type of pitcher. It's a cutter away. Don't try to fight it. Go the other way. Chipper does a nice job. Splits the outfielders. Anybody who tries to pull that pitch or has an approach other than that, it's an out.
Yeah, just to come back to the mound, typically. Tying run at second for Brian McCann. He had a comebacker to the mound his first time up.
Look for him to be aggressive here, Joe, because they've been pounding him in. And he says, based on his experience, only 2 for 2 going into the game, he feels like his best approach is going to be an aggressive approach against this guy.
Tried to go in again and missed. 1-1. Slight shift on for him. Castro is cheated up the middle as a shortstop, but he's not on the right side of the diamond. One and one. Tied him up. 1-2.
So 2 hard cutters in. Don't know if he'll throw a front door sinker here or try to go back away. This is what makes him tough, trying to guess along with him.
Went away and had Brian reaching. They just carved him up there. In, out, in, out. Braves leave 1 in scoring position. We go to the 5th.
6 straight years. Experience all the comfort and amenities you expect at an unexpectedly low price. Jamieson Inns, live large, pay less.
4 innings in the books. Phillies up 1-0. Joe Simpson, John Smoltz from Turner Field. Glad you're with us tonight on Peachtree TV. Top of the order for the Phillies. Shane Victorino's 0 for 2, but he has preserved a 1-0 lead for the Phillies with a great catch, robbing Troy Gloss of what looked like a sure home run in the 2nd inning.
This is a pretty much game where pitchers go in, sit down, feel like 2 minutes later to back out pitching.
It is the matchup we expected. Pitch number 75 coming up for Tim Hudson. Victorino, Polanco, and Utley here in the 5th inning. Got him upstairs. Strikeout number 5 for Tim. Now it's time to take a look at the SunTrust Solid Performance, brought to you by SunTrust. Live solid, bank solid. And tonight's subject is 2-hit games. National League leaders and Placido Polanco at the top of the heap with 9. 3 guys in this ball game that are among the league leaders. Howard and Prado as well. Butch Rodriguez, boy, how about him? What he's doing for the Nats.
Having a nice start to what Butch would say probably not going to be in the mix here too long, but they're playing 500 baseball already. Good for them.
I expect to call up their kid phenom Steven Strasburg probably by the end of May, 1st of June. Off the thumbs. Gloss will handle that one. Quickly 2 down. Chase Utley will bat with 2 out. He doubled his last time up. 1 for 2.
Tim's worked awfully hard to get back to this position, and certainly was a little bit surprised when he got the news how bad the situation was with his arm. And nobody knows how much work you got to do behind the scenes, but when he gets back out, he's doing the thing he's always loved to do. It's a tribute to his hard work.
As I said in one of his first starts, the byproduct of all that hard work, and if nothing else, the time away from pitching, it really did his shoulder a lot of good. Did you find the same thing happen for you?
Yeah, the one thing you've got to do, though, when you're concentrating on your elbow, because your shoulder is such a big part of it, you got to work harder on it. Okay. And so you can't pay attention to just the operation, but there's a lot of things you learn in that year off that you may have taken for granted a little bit while baseball's going and things are going good. And certainly Tim, like I said, loves to joke, loves to have a good time, and he's a fierce competitor. When you're in that position, not that his priorities were ever off, it just refocuses everything you do, and the determination is to get back on that mound.
Seems like that's the way it is anytime something is taken away from you that you're crazy about, that maybe you took for granted. 2-1 to Utley.
I always felt, I don't know in Tim's sake, but I always felt through my surgeries I learned a lot more about my mechanics. I learned a lot more about what I can and can't do, and it helped really define me as a pitcher later on in the career, being able to be in tune with my body and my mechanics.
That's off his foot. Foul ball, 2-2. Before you had your elbow surgery, you had issues with bone spurs, though, for a long time in your elbow. How did you cope with that? How did you?
Well, they weren't fun because they're precursors to what's about to happen, and that's the Tommy John in most cases, because what your body does is it creates what is a protection and bone spurs for your ligament. So when they go in and take it out, obviously it feels a lot better. But I can remember in '94 them doing every test known. I had a rough stretch. They couldn't identify what was going on, and right before the strike, my arm locked up, and I had 15 cc's of fluid. And what happens is that when it locks up, those bone spurs have dislodged or whatever the terminology is, and they got to go in and get them, and they eventually did and recovered fast from it because you have all that freedom again. But when they took that sneak peek 3 different times to do that, they let me know that Tommy John was not too far in the future.
2-2 to Utley. Good battle going on here with Hudson, and one of the league's best hitters, and a guy who many people think is the odds-on favorite for the MVP in 2010 in the National League. Good grief. He pulled that ball almost behind him over to where the bat boys and ball boys sit. Almost right behind where the Braves on deck circle is.
Right here, if he's a tennis player, he's got a tremendous backhand. It looks like he just snatches the ball that's down and in, keeps his head down. You never expect a ball there from a left-hander. You think you're safe if you're sitting in that spot.
Wayne Berry, you're free to move about the cabin. Hello for his camera operator. Full count now to Utley. Only 1 walk so far on the night by Hudson, and that was an intentional pass to Howard in the 3rd. And there's Mr. Howard. Payoff pitch. A little two-hopper to Escobar. Good pitch, good result. 3 up and 3 down go the Phillies. That's 8 in a row set down by Hudson.
Bottom of the 5th, Phillies lead 1-0. Major League Baseball and People magazine have teamed up to recognize individuals who have served their communities in extraordinary ways with the People All-Stars Among Us campaign. Visit www.peopleallstars.com now through May 14th to submit a nomination.
That's a good program. Troy Gloss leads off for the Braves, robbed of what looked like a home run his first time up. Takes ball 1. Gloss, Hayward, and Escobar against Halladay. He was allowed only 1 hit. Slider for a strike.
Boy.
2-1 the count.
You know, it's hard to probably in this inning tell the story that was in Sports Illustrated about Roy Halladay because he works so fast, gets so many people out. But this was not always the case, what you're seeing right now.
A knuckleball hit the center, but Victorino handled it.
Matter of fact, you know, some excerpts from it. 2000 putting up a 10.64 ERA in 67 2/3 innings. Remains to this day the worst ERA in history among pitchers who threw at least 60 innings. And he had to go through a redefining period that really most people don't understand. He had to be torn down of who he was as a pitcher. He signed a contract, had a nice first year, 3-year contract, and then all of a sudden he was told how terrible he is. And not only told how terrible he is, this is how you're going to get out of it. Sports psychology to all kinds of pitching coaches. And he has immersed from this story the type of pitcher who's methodical, does everything the same, takes a lot of pride in his workout, probably works out harder than anybody, up there with Nolan Ryan, and he doesn't take anything for granted anymore, and it shows in his last few years as a pitcher.
He was on the way out of the game. His wife bought him some self-help books that helped, and the Blue Jays really literally sent him from the big leagues to A-ball, and he had to start over. Mel Queen kind of helped dig him out of that hole. Broken back liner up the middle. Two-hopper. Castro handles, throws. Got him. What a stretch by Ryan Howard. Good play on both ends. Castro and Howard. To rob Hayward of a base hit.
I'm wondering if he stays on the bag here.
Me
Let's
too.
see if he does. Great play up the middle. Bat breaks. Throws. And he does.
Pretty good flexibility there for the big man at first. Yeah. Came off the bag after the catch. 2 down for Escobar, who took a called third his first time up. First pitch swinging, got jammed. Another easy inning for Roy Halladay. He's thrown only 56 pitches through 5 innings, and he leads 1-0.
Thursday, it's the final game of the series. Braves, Phillies, Thursday at 7 on Peachtree TV.
Phillies up 1-0. Top of the 6th inning. Howard, Worth, and Ibanez due up against Tim Hudson, who's allowed only 4 hits. 3 of them came consecutively in the 2nd inning that produced a run. And And this inning's pitching speed is brought to you by American Family Insurance. Visit amfam.com/family. Ryan Howard has grounded out. He's reached on an intentional pass. He's in the hole 0-2.
All of the pitches that we talked about in that one inning, Joe, have not. He's made the correction. Somehow, some way, he's gotten back into the mechanical direction that's kept his pitches right where he needs to be, and it shows as he's matching Halladay pitch for pitch. And what really, as he knows, has got to be as good as he can be, because he's kept his team right where he needs to be, right within striking distance. And if the Braves are going to continue their winning ways, they're going to have their 7th come from behind victory. And Tim is putting them in position to do that.
Oh, no. Are you kidding me? Third time in 2 nights by 3 different guys that they've had check swing hits. This one beats the shift, and this time it's Ryan Howard.
That's the product of just making such a good pitch. I mean, if he wants to do this, he almost couldn't. And with the shift being the way it is, that's the downside. It's going to work more times than it's not, and just a modified bunt.
Your point is a good one, too. How often do you see Ryan Howard not take a full swing at something?
Right.
Was completely fooled. Great pitch, bad result. Jason Worth, the batter, doubled and scored in the 2nd. Just missed a home run and got a high five from his first base coach, Davey Lopes, as he was rounding first, and then had to hustle into 2nd.
You know, I've never been a big fan of the shift, but I guess why I've become to get used to it is all of these guys are talented enough. If they want to go the other way, they can, but their ego and their pride says, I'm going to drive the ball. I'm paid to hit the ball out of the ballpark. It lends myself to actually be better if I pull it. With the Griffeys and the Bonds, and now you're seeing it here, they could get a single anytime they want the other way.
Another drive to left center by Worth. Howard runs well for a big man. McLeod gets to it. They're going to wave Howard home. Here's the relay to Escobar, the throw to the plate. He's safe. And Worth makes it around to 3rd. It'll be a double and an RBI for Jason Worth, and it's 2-0 Philadelphia. 2nd double of the night for Worth. Pretty good pitch, too, down.
He's out at 3rd. If you watch this play right here, and the throw just misses him at home, and he's going to take it out, and it slips out of his hand to go to 3rd, or he's out.
They will walk Ibanez and pitch to Castro. 2nd walk of the night for Tim, both intentional. Well, again, that rotten check swing, leadoff single leads to a run. Last night, a check swing double by Utley leading off the 4th against Hansen led to a run. Back in the 2nd inning, Hudson gave up back-to-back doubles to Worth and Ibanez. Castro had a single to put runners on the corners, and then Tim did some great pitching. He got a shallow pop up to right, a strikeout and a fly out to avoid any more damage other than the 1 run. He's in the same part of the order where he did that before. Infield not all the way in, but a little more than halfway. Now they creep in a little more. Castro to Escobar. He'll come home. Worth slide. He's out. Good play by McCann, who dug one. It appeared dug it out of the dirt. Held on to it for the tag. And Escobar acknowledging Brian McCann for a little help on his end.
Kind of surprised by this to be actually. I guess he's going knowing that he might turn 2, but I don't think that was in the plan at all. Ball did get in the dirt. Nice pickup by Brian. Not an easy play, but get the out. Now we still have a chance for double play. Again, salvage just one run would be heroic if Timmy could do this and put his team back on the field, or the Phillies back on the field, only up 2-0.
That was a great grab by McCann. Ruiz 0 for 2 tonight. 0 for 6 in the series, but that short hop throw, Escobar threw it flat-footed, didn't get much on it, and McCann really had to make a good play. One and one.
It's funny, so much of baseball is a mindset. Depending on who's on the mound, a 2-run deficit in most scenarios isn't a big deal at all. 3-run deficit, certainly the Braves showed last night they could come back from that. But then when you start playing those, well, Halliday's on the mound, we can't afford to give up any more. As a pitcher, you're grinding that much more to prevent and trying to pitch perfect to get out of every situation.
2-1.
And you know, when you're a player and you're asked these questions, you do answer them a certain way. When you get out of the game or you're seeing it from a different view, you realize you really are pitching against the pitcher. But when they ask you that question, you're going to say you're pitching against the team.
Over the mound, Prado flip to Escobar. That's all they'll get. But 2 out and runners on the corners for the pitcher.
This situation, you really got to make sure you get that out because you know the pitcher's coming up next. Traditionally, it's an out when he's up at the plate. You don't want to do anything crazy.
Roger McDowell out to talk to Tim Hudson. There is some scurrying around in the Braves bullpen. Hudson's spot is due up second, John, in the bottom half of the inning. Let's go through a hypothetical here. Let's say Tim gets Halladay, gets out of the inning, and trails 2-0. What do you do? With his spot due up second, do you leave him in or do you pinch hit for him?
More than likely you're going to pinch hit for him. If it was any other pitcher, you might leave him in, and if the guy got on in front of you, you'd bunt him over. But at 101 pitches, you're only going to get one more inning maybe out of him.
Yeah.
And Bobby's never going to stretch a pitcher, especially early, just to eke out an inning with the opportunity they might have to go out there and get him.
Especially a guy that's only in his 10th start since coming back to active duty from Tommy John surgery. Halladay has fanned twice. A little tapper to short. Tough play for Escobar, but has the pitcher running and throws him out. And Tim again does a great job of limiting the damage. But the Phillies do get a run. And we go to the bottom of the 6th, 2-0 Philadelphia. Bottom of the sixth, Phillies lead is now 2-0 over the Braves. Let's take a look at the Braves' upcoming schedule, brought to you by AirTran Airways. Go, there's nothing stopping you. John and I will be back with you tomorrow night for the wrap-up of this series with the Phillies at 7 o'clock. Then the Braves head out on the road right after the game. They go to New York first. First two games on Sports South, a night game Friday night, day game Saturday. ESPN has the national broadcast on Sunday. Then the Braves head to St. Louis for 4 games. And John and I will have the first 3 games of that series for you here on Peachtree TV. Bottom part of the order, Braves only have 1 hit. That was a solid double to left center by Chipper back in the 4th. Melky Cabrera and Brooks Conrad has a bat in the on-deck circle to hit for Hudson, and then McLeod. Cabrera with a lot of at-bats against Halladay, of course. There's Conrad. Cabrera against Halladay in the American League East, 8 for 39 with the Yankees with a home run, and 0 for 1 tonight.
Talking about this article, a couple more excerpts I'd like to throw in that talk about his methodical approach. 35 pitches, pre-game, bullpen sessions, always in the same sequence. Always the same. Sits by the same towel, same water jug. And he said something in here where he vowed that if he was going to be out of baseball, I would be able to look back and say I did everything the best of my ability. Talking about why he runs and why he does what he does. But to think that we all prepare for a game, we all do the certain things that make us tick, but to know everything's the same, to throw 35 pitches and that's it every single time, he has mastered and gotten to know what his mechanics should feel like, look like, and credit to him going through all of this.
Oh, a little flare and a beauty. Melky leads off this 6th. A little taste of their own medicine for the Phillies. That was actually a swing. It wasn't a check swing. And Conrad will hit for Hudson.
Got to have a defensive approach, especially with 2 strikes. You don't know where it's going to come from Halladay, and the bigger the swing, the more aggressive the guy is. It seems to play right in the hands of a pitcher who carves hitters up as good as anybody. So maybe this is a good start for the Braves. Get them out of the stretch. Create something going here as they try to rally, put Tim Hudson back in the game.
Conrad goes after the first pitch, fouls it behind the plate, and Ruiz has a play. 1 pitch, 1 out on Conrad. Against a guy like this, one of the strategies teams will employ is, take a few pitches, make him work, try to run his pitch count out, try to get him out by the 6th inning, and then go to work on their bullpen. Well, he doesn't give you that leeway because he's pounding the strike zone, and you don't have the luxury of taking a lot of pitches. And he's only thrown 63 so far tonight. Nate McLeod 0 for 2. Sends a drive to right center field and deep. Victorino on the run, though, has room, and he'll track down another one.
See, the problem is in most teams, most games, hitters, players, they start looking ahead. Who's the middleman? Who's the closer? Well, he's all 3. He's the starter, middleman, and closer. He does everything that he wants to do, and you're begging for the closer to come in.
Oh, yeah.
You're asking the manager to take him out because his rhythm and everything he does sets up for the entire game. You just saw man on first, next 2 pitches, 2 outs.
And he pitches so many complete games, as we showed you earlier. Martin Prado's grounded out, struck out. 2 for 4 last night. Martin good at going to right field, has a big hole on the right side. If he can go that way or get something he can hit that way. They keep it in on him, and he turns a 1-hopper to Polanco into an out. And after a leadoff single, Halladay gets him 1-2-3.
Nothing Phillies, and the new pitcher for the Braves is Johnny Venters, who makes his second appearance for Atlanta. And boy, what a debut he had on the night that Jimenez threw the no-hitter, Johnny. Worked 3 innings of 1 hit, shutout ball, walked 1, struck out 2, and this guy's got some lightning stuff with a real good hard sinker.
That sinker's heavy, and it really is legit. Stays on focus, stays on command, and that ball explodes out of his hand. The Braves are really pleased with really the stuff that he has coming from the left-hand side.
Shane Victorino switches around to bat right-handed and gets ahead in the count 2-0.
And if you had your bathroom break, you missed 3 innings.
Yeah.
We're in the 7th.
Missed a joke. High fly down the line. Cabrera into foul territory, jumps and made the catch. Nice play by Melky. Good play. Little help, never hurt. Got a pinch hitter now for the Phillies. Batting for Polanco will be Wilson Valdez, and you just wonder if Polanco's elbow stiffened up a little bit after he got hit by a pitch in the first inning.
I'm pretty sure that would be the case.
Well, the way I look at it, that changes their whole dynamic. I'm not sure Halladay will be able to work next inning.
Might have caused him to move seats in the dugout.
Yeah. Yeah, what if Valdez comes back now and sits in Halladay's place on the bench?
One of the Toronto players was talking about that. He accidentally sat in his seat, and he stood over him and looked at him and gave him that kind of little stare, and right away apologies started flying. He quickly got out of that seat. I never personally cared, but I sat forever.
Did you have a routine, though, when you came back to the dugout with a jacket or water or Jeff Porter?
Not really. I really didn't. I was
off the glove of Venters, but Escobar is there and he makes the play. 2 down.
I really, even if I happen to have, and I had a fair share of games that were no hitters past the 6th inning, I just asked guys to talk to me.
Yeah.
I didn't care about that stuff. That didn't bother me whatsoever.
Chase Utley, 1 out of 3. One of the things that highlights how well Tim Hudson pitched tonight when he was in trouble was how he handled the Phillies with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, by all accounts, this game should be a 4 or 5. This game should be a bigger spread than it is. Tim did a great job, damage control. And again, just like last night, kept the Braves in contention for a rally. But as we talked in the open, football's played on emotion. Baseball, your momentum is only your next day's either opposing starting pitcher or home starting pitcher. And in this case, Halladay says that win you got last night, we're going to end it.
He's put an end to a lot of streaks, winning streaks for opponents. Venters just fired a 95-mile-an-hour fastball to Utley, and he's ahead in the count 1-2. 2-2.
Now, since he's new, was he a position player that they've turned pitcher? Is this the guy 2 years ago? Somebody was telling me we've got a guy that. I'm going to check and see if he was the guy.
There is a guy that was an outfield, but I don't know that it was Johnny. I know this. He's airing it out in the mid-90s right now. Be a good place here for one of those good, hard, nasty sinkers.
He left a good impression, I know, on Todd Helton the other night. He said, man, that guy had great stuff. Full count, though, to Utley. Breaking ball, locked him up, struck him out. Another good inning for Johnny Venters. He retires the top of the order for the Phillies. 1, 2, 3. We go to the 7th inning stretch. 2-0 Phils.
Lead over the Braves. It's a party on Peachtree. Tune in every weeknight starting at 5 p.m. for your favorite comedies: The Office, Friends, Seinfeld, Family Guy, and House of Pain.
There's some pain inflicted by Chipper. His second hit of the night. Braves had their leadoff man aboard for the second straight inning. And you just can't count on those 2-out 9th inning rallies every night. Braves need to go to work here. Part of their order. Ryan McCann steps in. He's 0 for 2 tonight. He's going to come back to the mound and struck out. Wilson Valdez, who pinch hit for Polanco, remains in the game to play third base. Hard hit through the hole, base hit. McCann went after the first pitch. Chipper will stop at second. First and second, nobody out. 14 straight shutout innings by Phillies starters in this series. They've allowed only 8 hits, going back to Kendrick's 8 shutout innings last night.
Well, again, City's going to be aggressive, look for a ball to handle, put it in the hole, first and second. See if Troy Glass can continue to swing after last night looked like a rejuvenated bat.
This is where I would not be a very popular manager with my players.
You would bunt, wouldn't you?
I would.
I'm right there with you.
Against this guy, you bet. As much respect as I have for Troy Glass and his career and home runs against Halladay. I'd say, Troy, put one down for me, pal. But that man over there has won over 2,000 games doing what he does best. I thought that was inside.
And they were teammates in Toronto, so they got a familiarity with each other and pitched against each other. That pitched a little too low for the size of Troy Gloss. A great pitch, but not one he's going to even think about hitting, even if it was told it was coming.
Big cut, but he was a little late on that one, 1-2. Again, some late movement at 93 from Halladay. Good numbers for Troy, and he almost added to that home run list. Were it not for a great play by Victorino in the second inning. Struck him out. Strikeout number 7 for Halladay, first one since the 4th inning. Here's that kid. Jason Hayward is struck out, grounded out. An awful magical here at Turner Field this year.
Pretty interesting statistic. Bases empty. He's hitting 179. Runners in scoring position. 727. And then even with 2 outs, 750.
Gaudy numbers. Sinker down and away, 1-1. Jason facing arguably the best pitcher in the game. And a chance to do some damage here. Braves have runners on, 2 runners on for the first time tonight. Just missed, 2-1. Jones at second, McCann at first. Two-1. Inside. 3-1. He has not walked anyone tonight. In fact, he has not walked anyone in 25 innings.
He's not afraid to throw any pitch, any count. That's what makes him so tough. You can't really feel comfortable if you're a hitter. Now what do? 3-2, young hitter. He's just throwing you 4 different pitches, 4 different locations. Got to look for one spot and hope that he throws it there.
Got to look for something middle of the plate away. And he lays off and draws a walk. First walk issued by Roy Halladay in 25 1/3 innings. Great at bat by the kid. And they're loaded for Yunel Escobar.
Here's the challenge for Yunel. You want to make something happen for your team. You know he's going to be around the plate. He's got to stay patient to his area. If he aggressively goes after this pitch, and it's the pitch that Halladay wants to make, we're looking at a double play. If it's the pitch that Yunel's looking for, he's got a chance to drive the ball, maybe get a fly ball, maybe get a hit, and tie this game up.
Oh for 2 tonight. And a great pitch by Halladay and a good idea to lay off. 94 at the knees with sinking action. I'm just hoping if you're Escobar that you'll get a better one to handle than that. A little bit lower. 1-1. Got to make him get the ball up here.
Good discipline. On TV, it looks like that pitch was nowhere near to even think about swinging, but when you're the batter and he's already painted inside, that looks like the same pitch, and he sunk it hard.
A little slow tapper, that'll trickle foul.
That's the first pitch he's missed location by more than 6 inches, and he almost got away with it. The ball was supposed to be, looked like a front door kind of cutter, and it swept away, and he reached for it. Luckily, the ball did go foul.
When Escobar took a called 3rd strike in the 3rd inning, he got caught looking for something other than the fastball, and Halladay threw one right down the middle. Tough duty here for Yunel. 1-2 the count. He's off a Fastball cutting away from him, 2-2, and now Halladay wants to talk to Ruiz. Could this be? This is a setup pitch for the next one. Is that maybe some strategy?
It could be, but I think he was trying to fake him inside, and the catcher was to try to get outside. And I don't know if that's a scenario where, being new, he may just want him to go to the spot, and the heck with trying to. I'm just guessing here,
yeah.
But
Rays are 1 for 10 tonight with 7 strikeouts with 2 strikes on him. Good piece of hitting there by Unell to fight him off.
I know I was not a big fan of having the catcher move too much as I was delivering a pitch. I wanted him. Now, you don't want to set up so early that you give the hitters and the runners the opportunity to see where it's coming, but that could have been just that simple to say, all right, I want you in the area, let's make the pitch.
Yeah, you don't want to have to try to hit a moving target. Escobar, one of the leading hitters in the National League with runners in scoring position last year. 5 for 15 this year. And again, a meeting, which I think is great because at the very least it's making Halladay think about what he wants to do and how he's got to try to get an out here. He's been breezing all night. Only one runner had reached second base. That was Chipper on a 2-out double in the 4th. Now they're loaded. Back up the middle. Oh, a bad hop off the mound for Escobar, and the Phillies will turn it into a double play. Unell hit that ball hard, but it hit the side slope of the mound and came back to Utley. 4-6-3, and Halladay's out of the jam.
Because what they don't want is a slick ball. Finger pressure is so important. They've got to know where it is in their hands so they can deliver the proper pitch. And when it gets cool or a ball is not rubbed up to their liking, that's what they're trying to do, create some kind of friction so it's not like throwing a cue ball.
1-1 to Ryan Howard leading off the inning. Here's the double play. Oh, excuse me. A little rubbing up the baseball. Excuse me.
Now, in some cases, all right, they're also trying to raise the seams, which is not looked upon at times. Where you do it with your hands, you're fine. If you see the nails rubbing, which a certain pitcher used to do against us every single time.
Dennis Cook.
Yes, he did.
Oh, what a sequence of pitches from Johnny Venners on Ryan Howard. Second strikeout for Venners. He fanned Utley to end the 7th, and now really ties up Howard.
Almost hit him in the back knee. That's how good his sinker is. Looks like he can go get it. Whoops. By him.
Boy, this guy is something.
And a correction to what I said last inning. Mike Dunn, the left-hander, is the converted pitcher in 2006. So, you know, lefties.
Yeah,
they're all,
right.
They're all the same.
Wirtz had a good night. 2 doubles and 3 trips. And he has scored 1 of their 2 runs. If you just joined us, he led off the 2nd inning against Tim Hudson with a drive to left field. He thought he hit a homer. In fact, when he's rounding first, going into first, Davey Lopes, the first base coach, was standing right by the bag to give him a high five as he ran by. But it didn't leave the yard.
Thank
3-0
you
pitch.
very much.
Hit right to Escobar. 2 down.
Other than a double play, that's the next best thing. 3-0, and you get an out.
I'd say I just feel bad for you now. Having had that happen to me before and see other hitters do the same thing, is hit a ball sharply in a key situation and have the ball hit the mound and have it affect the trajectory of the baseball. And in that case, helped make that double play possible for Chase Utley. It's a killer. Raul Ibanez 1 for 2 with a walk. Here's that play again. Might have gotten into center field if it had missed the mound. Not only did it shoot it back over to Utley, but frustration certainly for Unell, but also caused the ball to shoot up in the air a little bit too.
And it was a great at bat.
Yeah,
I mean,
great
it just
at bat.
he battled him and did everything he could based on the count. An inch here or there makes the difference.
3-0 pitch this time taken by Ibanez, and it's 3-1. We're in the 8th, getting late. Phillies up 2-0. 3-1 breaking ball and a beauty. Venners works from the third base side of the rubber. Check swing back to Venners off his glove. Prado recovers and throws out Ibanez. And again, Venners has a 1-2-3 inning. He's set down 6 in a row. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Melky Cabrera will lead off for the Braves down by 2. Melky Cabrera lead off for the Braves in the 8th inning. 1 out of 2 tonight. He led off the 6th with a single. Shows bunt, takes ball 1. Braves had him loaded with 1 out in the 7th, but Junel Escobar hit into a tough luck double play to get Halladay out of trouble.
Boy, on there, kid.
Taking all the way, and the count goes to 2-1. Last night, when the Braves rallied to beat the Phillies, a remarkable loss in that it was the first loss that they had suffered since 2000, when they led by 3 or more in the 9th inning. Cabrera retired, 1 away. July of 2000 against the Yankees in interleague play. And they lead by 2 tonight. We're in the 8th, 1 out. Eric Hinsky will pinch hit for Venners, who was outstanding again. 2 perfect innings with 2 strikeouts. And the 2 strikeouts were Utley and Howard. Now, watching Halladay, John, and you were talking earlier about Tim Hudson's arm angle, this guy's arm angle, it's almost like he kind of stiff arms the ball to the plate. There doesn't seem to be any real flexibility in terms of wrist snap or from elbow to shoulder. It looks like it all stays on the same plane.
Yeah, and being as big as he is, you know, you'd think over the top, throw it 95 miles an hour, but they made this change.
Hinsky to left. That's going to drop for a hit. He's going to go to second, and he's going to make it. So Eric, who it looked like was robbed of an extra base hit last night pinch hitting when the ball was ruled foul and looked fair, does indeed have a double here.
Well, they made this change to make sure, as you see this pitch right here, out over the plate, just reaches. Again, not a product of hit hard, but just hit the right spot. For him to command the pitch that he's looking, and he creates spin both ways. And so it's unique to him. I call it, you know, like I said, he's just laying off the ball, but he delivers it with such accuracy. Whatever change they made, whatever they did way back when, he has absolutely grown to accept it, love it, and master it.
Nate McLeod takes low ball 1. Nate tonight has hit the ball hard a couple of times, but he's 0 for 3.
He doesn't labor when he pitches. We've already talked about his workout enabled him to go, and if he could, probably pitch 9 innings every game. But he's got simple mechanics, goes straight forward, and everything looks stress-free. No hitches, nothing that you could pick apart. Just perfect for what he's trying to do. Pitches off the first base side, creates angles that he wants, and makes it tough for hitters to see the ball coming out of his hand.
Well, dating back to last year and using that stat you gave us earlier, his last 6 starts, he's only given up 3 earned runs in his last 50 innings. And he's gone 5-0 and leading tonight. But behind McLeod, 3-1. He walked Hayward last inning to snap a streak of 25 straight innings without a walk. Let's see what kind of pitch Nate gets to hit here. 3-1. Right at Utley. 2 down, runner at third for Martin Prado.
And all that is right there. It looks so easy if you're a fan going, how did he not crush that pitch? It's a 3-1 pitch, but there's so much doubt in the hitter's mind of what is he going to do. And he takes a little, puts a little on, takes a little off, always feels like he knows he has stats beyond stats, video, everything he's doing is with a purpose. And, you know, he's like a computer out there, and he makes it look like it's a wiffle ball game, and he's just flipping balls up there, and hitters do not square many of his pitches up.
Nice stop by Ruiz. Prado tonight 0 for 3. has not gotten the ball out of the infield. 2 ground outs around a strikeout. Out of play. When the Phillies made the extra effort to get him, and that sent Cliff Lee, who had pitched so well for them after they got him at the trade deadline last year, they had to reward Halladay with the contract extension. And beginning next year, he'll make $20 million a year from the Phillies. And the only way they could do that was to get rid of Lee to make room for him.
And I'll tell you what it did for me. You already had 2 left-handers in your rotation, and at some point there's 4 with Lee. It gave them the ability to mix and match and not stay one way, having 4, and Cliff Lee did a remarkable job in the postseason for the Phillies.
2 hopper to Castro. And the Braves leave that runner at third base. We've played 8. Roy Halladay still has his shutout, 2-0. Good play of the game, and it was a beauty. Shane Victorino robbing Troy Gloss of a home run in the 2nd inning. Looked like the Braves were on the board and going to tie the game up, but Victorino, the 2-time Gold Glove winner, robbed Gloss of a homer. And speaking of Zaxby's, get ready for ice cold bliss with the new Zaxby's milkshakes. Takashi Saito takes over here in the 9th. He's in his 6th game. 5 innings, 1 hit, no runs, a walk, and 8 strikeouts. He's been outstanding. The Braves bullpen the last 7 games, 2 runs in 22 1/3 innings with 24 strikeouts. Good work by all. And Castro sends the first pitch a mile high to Nate McLouth, 1 out. Looking ahead to the Braves' 9th inning. Jones, McCann, and Gloss. It should come as no surprise to anyone that the Phillies bullpen is quiet. 2 reasons: Roy Halladay and last night.
I thought you were going to say Roy Halladay and Roy Halladay.
Yeah. Carlos Ruiz 0 for 3 tonight, 0 for 7 in the series thus far. Derek Lowe against Jamie Moyer tomorrow night. We'll be on the air with you at 7 o'clock here on Peachtree TV. Well hit down the left field line. And a fair ball that one hops the wall. Ruiz has his first hit of the series. A ringing double, and Halliday will hit for himself. Don't be afraid to pinch hit for the guy. Halliday has struck out twice and grounded out.
He's going to rack up some ABs this year.
Yes, he is. Already got 14. Tim Hudson pitched great, but Roy Halladay has stifled the Braves' bats.
Oh, thought it stuck in his mask.
It did rattle the cage.
Did you ever catch? I mean, at all growing up, ever put on a mask?
I was left-handed, so no. I maybe one time my first year I ever played in Little League in Pee Wee ball. How about you?
No. Only position.
That's Ruiz at second. The 1-1 pitch. Out of play. Got to hold him right here. Saito's got to get out of this inning. Down 2 in the ninth to Roy Halladay is not enviable. Down 3 would be almost turn out the lights. Up the middle, Prado makes the play, 2 down. And Victorino will be the batter with a runner at third and 2 out. You know what you said in our opening comments, John, rings true though. And a win like last night for the Braves, a win like Sunday when Hayward came through, it does give you the feeling as a team that, you know what, we're never out of a ball game if it's close. We get a guy on, we can tie it up or win it late.
And there are certain teams in the history of baseball that have gone through seasons where, for whatever reason, that clicked. Guys believed in each other, didn't give bats away in the ninth no matter what the score is. And there's a general feeling, never assume anything in this game, because sooner or later the molds are going to be broken and the do's and don'ts go out the window, because it's all about what you think you can do sometimes. And Braves the last 2 nights have come up with 2 huge wins and should play out for the rest of the season.
One and 0 to Victorino, back around hitting left-handed, and he takes a strike.
It's kind of like 2-out hits. 2-out hits, 2-out RBIs are big. It's not a formula that can sustain you throughout the whole year, just like comeback victories, but it's nice to know that exists in your ball club.
Big cut by Victorino. They've elevated some fastballs on him tonight. He's had a hard time catching up to him. Hudson fanned him back in the 5th inning on some high fastballs. 21,171 here tonight, enjoying this great pitchers duel, and a lot of fans out there in the outfield pavilion taking advantage of the 2-for-1 Wednesday.
And based on the last couple of games, I don't see anybody leaving yet.
That's a good idea. Got him looking. Victorino. Watch that one sail by. Saito leaves a runner at third. We go to the bottom of the ninth. Chipper will lead it off, down by 2.
Here we go, bottom of the ninth, Philly up 2-0. Fans, here's a reminder to stay tuned after the game for the AT&T game summary. AT&T, rethink possible.
Well, it was Chipper last night who got the rally started with a one-out walk. He has 2 of the Braves' 5 hits tonight. Single, a double, and a strikeout for him. 2-0.
Here's some of the rules that don't apply in the ninth inning with this pitcher. You don't look to take a strike. The first pitch you can hit in this situation, I'm sure the hitting coach, Terry Pelton, is saying, go ahead and get it.
He had a good pitch to hit there and fouled it. Good cut. But Halladay with that good sinker and cutter. 12 groundouts tonight to go with his 7 strikeouts.
Typically, you always want to get the tying run on base, but it isn't going to be via a walk. And so you got to pick one out, as Chipper's done 2 times previously, and find one to hit.
Lays off that one. 3-1. Need a base runner to bring the tying run to the plate. He drew the walk last night, and then with 2 out, Gloss hit the 2-run homer, followed by Hayward's shot to tie it. Three and 1. 3-2. 106 pitches for Roy Halladay, 66 strikes. And nobody anywhere near the pitching rubbers in the Phillies bullpen. Payoff to Chipper. Toward right, knocked down by Howard. Good play and a flip for the out. What a play by Ryan Howard. Howard turned himself into a pretty good first baseman last year with a lot of hard work, thanks to their new third base coach, Sam Perlazzo, who worked tirelessly with him.
Right here is just a product of all night. Anything that's close to Braves getting something going, Phillies have responded with excellent defense. He almost missed the bag trying to get there.
Outstanding play by Ryan Howard. They've only made 6 errors all year. Brian McCann singled his last time up, 1 for 3.
I'd like to see him beat the shift right here and hit a ground ball to shortstop.
93-mile-an-hour cutter there, 1-1. If he hit it hard on the ground, it might roll all the way to the fence. Instead, again to Howard, equal to the challenge. Another good play. 2 down. Halladay 1 out away from his second complete game out of 4 starts.
These guys are going to love playing behind Halladay all year because he works fast. He's in the game the whole time. Infielders are not on their heels, and been just a picture perfect game plan and executed flawlessly.
Troy Gloss has hit the ball hard twice, but nothing to show for it. He's 0 for 3. Showed you our Zaxby's play of the game, in which Victorino went up over the wall to bring a drive back. Gloss had hit. 1-1. Halladay led the American League in complete games last year with 9. Chopper, tough play. Valdez got him. Game over. Roy Halladay, complete game shutout. A 5-hitter. He improves to 4-0. And his ERA, his last 6 starts, 0.53, dating back to last year. And out of those 6 starts, 4 complete games. And you wonder why the Phillies got him? You got a good example of it tonight.
Outstanding.
Phillies win it 2-0. They even the series at a game apiece. Back with more right after this.